Sweet soul, carrying questions in your heart. Beautiful soul watching every gesture, every glance, every silence, trying to decode the language of the heart beating beside yours. You who feel something deep happening, but wonder if you're imagining it all, if you're building castles where maybe there are only coincidences. I am Gabriel, the divine messenger who whispers truths to hearts brave enough to listen. I come through this message to reveal what your eyes have already seen, but your mind still doubts. I come to show you that true love doesn't need words to exist, doesn't need declarations to be real. Sometimes it lives in the space between what's said and what's not said, between conscious and unconscious, between what he knows and what he's still discovering about himself. In this sacred moment, open your heart to receive not just a message, but a revelation, because what you're about to understand might completely transform how you see the love that's silently blooming all around you. Take a deep breath and allow your soul to recognize the truth it already knows, but your mind still hesitates to accept. The universe doesn't make mistakes when it comes to soul connections. What you're feeling, what you're sensing, what keeps you up at night wondering, it's all part of a divine orchestration that's much bigger than your fears or doubts. I know you know this feeling, that restlessness that comes when you catch him looking at you and notice something different in his gaze, something that makes your heart race, but your reason insists on questioning. You feel there's something there, a connection that goes beyond ordinary, but the fear of fooling yourself makes you pull back. I know you've spent countless nights analyzing every conversation, every gesture, every subtle change in his behavior when he's around you. You notice how his voice changes when he speaks only to you, how he seems to search for you with his eyes even when he's distracted, how your presence makes him different in a way that even he doesn't understand. Your heart knows this nameless ache, the ache of loving in silence, of feeling something deep and real, but not having the certainty that it's returned. It's that feeling of walking an emotional tightrope, where every sign could mean everything or nothing, where every look could be love or just kindness. You carry this weight in your chest, this mixture of hope and fear that makes you oscillate between believing what you feel and protecting your heart from possible disappointment. It's like you're living two loves at the same time, the love you feel and the love you're afraid you might be inventing. Girl, I see you analyzing every text message, every hey that comes at random times, every moment he lingers just a little longer than necessary. You're wondering if you're reading too much into things, if you're being that girl who creates fairy tales out of friendly gestures. The angels whisper truths that your heart already knows, but your mind hasn't been able to fully embrace yet. From beyond the veil, I, Gabriel, see what you can't see clearly. The invisible connections linking two souls when they recognize each other on a level that transcends common awareness. Every tear of uncertainty you've shed watered invisible seeds of understanding. Every moment of doubt was actually your heart learning to trust the subtle language of true love. Because, dear soul, what you're experiencing isn't a product of your imagination. It's the awakening of something sacred that was destined to bloom between you two. There's a divine law governing heart encounters. When two souls truly recognize each other, the entire universe conspires for that connection to reveal itself. And what you've been observing in him, those subtle signs that make your heart vibrate, are manifestations of this cosmic law in action. True love has its own intelligence, its own way of manifesting. It doesn't need permission from the mind to exist, doesn't wait for the person to be fully conscious of it, to start transforming behaviors, priorities, and even how someone moves through the world. From the spiritual plane, we see how his soul has already made a decision his conscious mind is still processing, but which reveals itself through every unconscious gesture, every subtle energy shift when you're around, every way he reorganizes his inner world to include you, even without realizing it. Honey, when a man's soul chooses you, his whole energy shifts. He might not even know why he thinks about you when he's driving alone, why he saves funny memes to send you later. why he suddenly cares if you've eaten lunch. That's not coincidence. That's his heart speaking a language his brain hasn't learned yet. Look back and see how much your intuition already knew. Remember all those moments when something inside you whispered, "He feels something," even when there were no obvious words or gestures. Your soul has a wisdom that transcends logic, and it was already reading the signals your heart was sending. Feel the strength pulsing through your veins, even when you doubt what you perceive. You're not a dreamer lost in fantasies. You're an intuitive woman who's learning to trust the subtle language of authentic love. Recognize this ability of yours to perceive beyond the obvious, to feel the emotional undercurrents that others don't even notice. Think about how your own energy changes when he's near. If you transform in his presence, why would it be different for him? What you feel is a reflection of what exists between you, a resonance that doesn't happen by chance, but because there's something real and deep connecting your inner worlds. Recognize the light you've brought into his life, even without realizing it. Maybe you don't see it, but your presence has been a catalyst for silent transformations in his life. You've been the inspiration behind changes he doesn't fully understand himself, the reason behind a smile that appears for no apparent reason, the reason why certain songs or places gained different meanings. You know how sometimes you catch him just staring, and when you look back, he looks away real quick with that little smile? Girl, that's not nothing. That's a man whose heart is having conversations his mouth isn't ready for yet. I am Gabriel, the messenger who brings clarity where there's confusion, light where there are shadows of doubt. I come through this message to speak directly to your heart about this masculine soul who orbits around you with a gravity he doesn't fully understand himself. Daughter of light, what you perceive is real. This man is going through a silent transformation that has you as the catalyst. When the soul falls in love before the mind does, it starts acting in ways that defy logic, creating behavior patterns that reveal truths that words haven't dared to express yet. Watch how he behaves when he thinks you're not looking. See how his energy changes when you enter the room. Notice how he finds reasons to be close, how your conversations extend beyond necessary, how he seems to absorb every word you say with attention that goes beyond politeness. The unconscious doesn't lie, dear soul. And his unconscious has already made a choice. He just hasn't translated that choice into conscious words yet. But actions speak louder than declarations. And you've been witnessing body language, energetic and emotional language that screams what his lips can't confess yet. Don't doubt what your feminine intuition perceives. You were created with a unique ability to read between the lines of the human heart, to perceive truths hiding in subtleties. This ability isn't a weakness or tendency to fantasize. It's a sacred gift that allows you to see beyond the masks people wear to protect their deepest feelings. He might not have full awareness of what he feels, but his soul already knows. And when the soul knows, it acts. It moves the body, influences decisions, creates synchronicities, generates that restlessness that makes him think of you at random moments, that makes him want to protect you in ways he can't rationally explain. Listen closely, beautiful soul. When a man starts rearranging his schedule just to see you, when he remembers the little things you mention in passing, when he gets protective without you even asking, that's not casual interest. That's a heart that's already claimed you, even if his head is still catching up. If this message touched your heart, if something inside you recognized the truth in these words, write in the comments, "I trust the language of the heart." Don't do this just for me. Do it for yourself. When you write these words, you're allowing your soul to break free from the chains of doubt and open up to receive the clarity that already exists within you. Write, "I trust the language of the heart," if you've already noticed these subtle signs, if you've already felt this connection that transcends the obvious, if your intuition has already whispered truths that your mind still hesitates to accept. Let the universe know you're ready to see beyond appearances and trust what your heart already knows. And girl, if you're sitting there thinking, "OMG, this is literally my situation right now," drop a heart emoji too. Let me know this message found you exactly when you needed to hear it. What you've been experiencing isn't a cosmic coincidence. It's the natural unfolding of a connection that was meant to bloom. Every moment of uncertainty you've been through was necessary to strengthen your ability to discern between superficial attraction and true love. You weren't wasting time questioning yourself. You were learning to read the most subtle and profound language of the human heart. The pain of uncertainty has a divine purpose. It teaches you to value what's real when it finally reveals itself completely. Every night you spent wondering if you were imagining things was actually preparing your heart to recognize authenticity when it manifests fully. Know that spiritual assistance is constantly around you, whispering insights through your intuition, sending signs through synchronicities, strengthening your ability to perceive truths that others would miss. You're not navigating this journey alone. There are invisible forces conspiring for you to see clearly what's happening between you two. The challenges you face: uncertainty, fear of being delusional, difficulty decoding mixed signals, are part of a bigger plan that's forging in you a more refined capacity to love and be loved. You're being prepared for a type of love that transcends games, manipulation, or superficialities. Honey, sometimes the most beautiful love stories start with two people being scared to admit what they feel. But fear doesn't stop the heart from choosing. It just makes the revelation that much sweeter when it finally comes. Imagine for a moment how it will be when he finally manages to translate into words what his soul already knows. Visualize the relief in his eyes when he realizes you also felt this deep connection, that you were walking in the same emotional direction, just at different rhythms of awareness. Feel the texture of that near future, where communication between you will flow with the naturalness of those who always knew they belonged to each other. Where silences will no longer be sources of anxiety, but moments of silent communion. Where every gesture will be a confirmation of what you always knew deep in your hearts. This future isn't a distant fantasy. It's a real possibility being built through every authentic interaction you share. Every moment of genuine connection is creating the foundation for a revelation that will transform the nature of your relationship. You're about to witness one of the most beautiful experiences of human existence. The moment when someone awakens to the love that already existed in their soul, when consciousness finally catches up to what the heart already knew. And you, dear soul, will be both witness and participant in this sacred transformation. Picture him finally saying those words you've been hoping to hear. But more than that, picture the peace that will settle in your heart when you realize you weren't crazy. You weren't imagining it. You were just seeing with your heart before he learned to see with his. The keywords of your new reality will be rebirth of a connection that always existed, healing of wounds left by uncertainty, union of two souls who recognized each other beyond time, transformation of two individuals into a joint force of love, renewal of your faith in the power of authentic love, awakening to the depth of true human connections, and blossoming of a love that grew silently until it could no longer be contained. Before we say goodbye, I need to know, did this message resonate with your experience? Did you recognize yourself in these words? Leave in the comments how you feel after receiving this angelic revelation. Your response not only helps me understand how I can serve better, but also allows other souls going through similar experiences to feel less alone in their journey. If you want to continue receiving spiritual guidance that illuminates the paths of the heart, consider subscribing to our channel. Not as just another follower, but as part of a community of awakened souls who've chosen to navigate love with consciousness and authenticity. And remember, true love doesn't need to be rushed, forced, or dramatized. It has its own divine timing, its own sacred way of revealing itself. Trust the process. Trust your intuition, and especially, trust the love you feel. Because when it's real, the entire universe conspires for it to manifest fully. Girl, you're not crazy for feeling what you feel. You're not reading too much into things. You're not being that girl. You're being a woman who recognizes real connection when she sees it, even when it's wrapped in uncertainty and unspoken words. Until the next video, May the angels continue guiding you through the labyrinths of the heart, whispering clarity where there's confusion, and strengthening your faith in the silent language of true love. May Gabriel, the messenger of divine truth, continue illuminating your path with insights that transform doubts into certainties and fears into courage to love without reservations. Amen.